Good morning, students. I'm your English teacher in Vittal Matriculation School. Today, Wednesday. In last class, what we have seen? Yes, we have seen the Hunted Hill, right? The wind on Hunted Hill. The wind on Hunted Hill. Students, are you all? Read it. Read the passage, section 1 and 2. You have to read the passage well. That time you can better understand, okay? Then today we are going to see the section 3. And students, are you all happy? Had your breakfast? Yes. Hope you're all doing well, right? Okay, let me read section 3. Read this section carefully. Read this section carefully. Usha's heart was in her mouth. Usha's heart was in her mouth. She had seen without a shadow of a doubt two ghostly creatures at the other side of the room, and she wasn't going to remain in that ruined building a minute longer. Let me explain. Usha was very frightened now, right? Usha was very frightened now. She was sure she saw two shadows. She was sure she saw two shadows, and they looked like goats, and they looked like goats, and they looked like ghosts. She just wanted to run away from the place. So she just wanted to run away from that place. Yes. Ruined building a minute longer, right? Then she ran out of her corner. She ran out of her corner, ran towards the big gap in the wall through which she had entered. She was halfway across the open space when someone fell against her. She stumbled, got up again, bumped into something. She gave a frightened scream. Someone else screamed. And then there was a shout, a boy's shout, and Usha instantly recognized the voice. Like Suresh, Usha. Here see, Suresh, Usha, Binya, it's me, it's us. Like, let me explain. She tried to venture out from the place from where she had entered. She tried to venture out from the place from where she had entered, the big gap between the wall. When she was just halfway, something fell on her. Something fell on her. She got up but stumbled again on something. She screamed, but there was someone else also who cried along with her. And then there was a shout. Usha recognized that voice. She was sure of that. She called out to her brother Suresh. Then came a reply, Usha. Usha called out again, Binya. It's me, Usha here. Yes. Then, and the reply was, it is us, Binya and Suresh. And the reply was, It is as Binya and Suresh. They fell into each other's arms, so surprised and relieved that all they could do was laugh and jiggle and repeat each other names. Then Usha said, I thought you were ghost. We thought you were a ghost, said Suresh. Come back under the roof, said Usha. They huddled together in the corner, chattering excitedly. Yes, let me explain. All three children fell on each other and they were all so glad. So they all just laughed at each other and repeated their names. Usha said that she thought they were ghosts, and Suresh replied that they thought she was a ghost. Usha asked them to come under the roof. They hugged each other and started talking. They hugged each other and started talking. Then, when it grew dark, we came looking for you, said Binya. And then the storm broke. Shall we run back together? Asked Usha. I don't want to stay here any longer. We will have to wait, said Binya. The path has fallen away at the one place. It won't be safe in the dark in all this rain. Yes, what they stood to speak? Binya said that they both came looking for Usha as it grew dark and suddenly the storm started. Usha asked if all the three of them ran back together as she didn't feel like staying there anymore. Yes, they. Then Binya said that they would have to wait as the road has fallen away in the palace. Then, so it will not be safe for them to go in this night. The two when it's raining. Here, see, then we may have to wait till morning, said Suresh. And I'm feeling hungry. But Usha asked if all three of them back to together, right? Then Binya said that they would have to wait as the road has fallen away in one place. So it will not be safe for them to go in this night that too when it's raining. Here Suresh was feeling hungry and asked if they have to wait till morning to go back to their village. The wind and rain continued, and so did the thunder and lightning, but they were not afraid now. They gave each other warmth and confidence. Even the ruins did not seem so forbidding. After an hour, the rain stopped. And although the wind continued to blow, it was now taking the clouds away, so that the thunder grew more distant. Then the wind too moved on, and all was silent. Towards dawn, the whistling thrush began to sing. Its sweet broken notes flooded the rain-washed ruins with music. As the wind, rain, thunder, and lightning continued, but now they were feeling better. They were not scared. The children had faith in each other, and the ruins were not scary anymore. After almost an hour, the rain stopped, but the wind continued to blow and took the clouds away. So there was no thunder. Slowly, the wind also was not there. So everything was calm. Then the whistling, threshing bird began to sing again, and it was so sweet that the reunions were full of music now. Yes, let's go, said Usha. Come on, said Suresh, I'm hungry. Usha asked if they all can start. Then Suresh was still hungry, so he was reluctant to walk. Reluctant to walk. Then as it grew lighter, they saw that the plum tree stood upright again. Plum tree stood upright again, although it had lost all its blossoms. They stood outside the ruins on the brow of the hill, watching the sky grow pink. A light breeze had sprung up. A light breeze had sprung up. Then sometime later, they saw the plum tree again, though there were no blossoms, but it stood straight once again. They all stood outside the ruins watching the sky, which has turned pink. There was a slight breeze now. There was a slight breeze now. They started towards the village. After some time, when Usha turned back to the ruins, she asked others if they could see something on the wall, maybe hand. As here see, when they were some distance from the ruins, Usha looked back and said, can you see something there behind the wall? It's like a hand waving. They started towards village. After some time, when Usha turned back to the ruins, she asked others if they could see something on the wall, maybe a hand waving. Here I can't see anything, said Suresh. It's just the top of the plum tree, said Binya. They were on the path leading across the saddle on the hill. Suresh said that he could not see anything like that, and Binya cleared that it is just the top of the plum tree. They went ahead till the end of the hill. Goodbye, goodbye. Voice on the wind. Voices on the wind. Who said goodbye? Asked Usha. Not I, said Suresh. Not I, said Binya. I heard someone calling. It's only the wind. It's only the wind. Usha heard someone saying goodbye, goodbye. Usha asked who said goodbye. But both Suresh and Binya said they did not utter a word. They did not utter a word. Usha said she heard someone calling her. It might be just the wind, said Binya. Then here see, Usha looked back at the ruins. The sun had come up and was touching the top of the walls. The leaves of the plum tree shone. The thrush sat there singing. Come on, said Suresh. I'm hungry. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Usha heard them calling, or was it just the wind? It might be just the wind, said Binya, right? Then Usha looked back again at the ruins. The sun had come up and was on the top of the walls of the ruins. Then the plum tree stood as usual. The thrush was still singing. Suresh got irritated and said he was hungry. Then Usha could still hear the sound of someone saying goodbye to her. Or maybe it was just a wind. Yes. Next, we have to recall this glossary, right? Forbidding. Unfriendly or frightening. Unfriendly or frightening. Foliage threshing. Foliage threshing. Hitting leaves and branches. Hitting leaves and branches. Flicker, shine. Flicker, shine. Startled. Startled. Frightened. Remnant. What was left? What was left? Crouching, bending down, bending down. Groaned and cluttered, banged, banged together and made a loud noise. Puddle, pool of water. Plotted out, hid, streak, line. Sizzled, hissed like something hot on a frying pan. Next, here glossaries about the section 3rd. Stumbled, stumbled. Lost one's balance, lost one's balance. Stumbled, lost one's balance. Jiggle, jiggle, laugh lightly, laugh lightly. Huddled, crowded together, crowded together. Excitedly, feeling great eagerness, excitedly, feeling great eagerness. Then take your pencil. You have to put mark in the, choose the correct answer. Yes. The wind hurried and passed through the dash. What? The wind hurried and passed through the dash. Yes, first one is answer. Pines and deodars, pines and deodars. The wind hurried and passed through the pines. You have to write it in your book, students. Pines and deodars, deodars. Yes. The market was dash away from the village. The market was 3 miles, right? 3 miles away from the village. The market was 3 miles away from the village. Usha went to visit her dash house after shopping in the market. Option B, auntie's house. Usha went to visit her auntie's house after shopping in the market. Usha took shelter in the dash ruins. Usha took shelter in the ruins. Usha took shelter in the ruins. Fifth one is, at dawn the dash began to sing. Thrush began to, at dawn the thrush began to sing, Let me read. The wind hurried and passed through the pines and deodars. The market was 3 miles away from the village. Usha went to visit her auntie's house after shopping in the market. Usha took shelter in the ruins. At dawn the thrush began to sing. Next, think and answer. Think and answer. Students, you have to take a note and pen. I'll tell the answer. You have to write it in your note. Okay. First question. Why was it a struggle for the children to dry their clothes? Why was it a struggle for the children to dry their clothes? Yes, the answer is beside the stone wall. Beside the stone wall, the children were spreading cloths out to dry. Beside the stone wall, the children were spreading cloths out to dry. Second question is, what story did grandfather tell them about the haunted hill? What story did grandfather tell them about the haunted hill? Second one is, the answer is Suresh asked Usha whether he could go with her to the bazaar. Usha was going to all alone to the bazaar. She had to cross the haunted hill on the way. So he asked that question to Usha. Then third question, what did Usha buy in the market? Listen them. Sorry students, this is the answer for section 1 question answer. You have to read and write the question and answers. What were the children doing beside the stone wall? What were the children doing beside the stone wall? Beside the stone wall, the children were spreading cloths out to dry. Beside the stone wall, the children were spreading cloths out to dry. Yes, you have to write it in your notes, students. Beside the stone wall, the children were spreading cloths out to dry. Second question is, what did Suresh ask Usha? Why? What did Suresh ask Usha? Why? Suresh asked Usha whether he could go with her to the bazaar. Suresh asked Usha whether he could go with her to the bazaar. Usha was going to all alone to the bazaar. Usha was going all alone to the bazaar. She had to cross the haunted hill on the way. She had to cross the haunted hill on the way. So he asked that question to Usha. Then third question, who told the children the story about the ghost on haunted hill? Their grandfather told the children. Their grandfather told the children about the ghost on haunted hill. The fourth question is, what did Usha see while walking to the bazaar? What did Usha see while walking to the bazaar? Usha went through the fields. She saw the yellow mustard flowers. And she also a wild plum tree, some lizards and a whistling thrush. She saw a wild plum tree, some lizards and a whistling thrush. Yes, let me read it again. Listen, what were the children doing beside the stone wall? Beside the stone wall, the children were spreading their cloths out to dry. What did Suresh ask Usha or why? Suresh asked Usha whether he could go with her to the bazaar. Usha was going to all alone to the bazaar. She had to cross the haunted hill on the way. So he asked that question to Usha. Third question, who told the children the story about the ghost on haunted hill? The third question answer is, their grandfather told the children about the ghost on haunted hills. Then, what did Usha see while walking to the bazaar? Usha went through the fields. She saw the yellow mustard flowers. She also She also saw a wild plum tree, some lizards, and a whistling thrush. Plum tree, lizards, and whistling thrush. Yes. Next these questions, okay? First question is, why was it a struggle for the children to dry their clothes? Why was it a struggle for the children to dry their clothes? The answer is, the wind blew hard and the clouds fluttered in the wind. The wind blew hard and the clouds fluttered in the wind. So it was a struggle for children to dry their clothes. So it was a struggle for children to dry their clothes. Second question. What story did grandfather tell them about the haunted hill? What story did grandfather tell them about the haunted hill? The answer is, grandfather said that there were many ghosts in the ruins. During a terrible storm, one of the houses was hit by lightning. Everyone in the house died, including two children. Grandfather had seen the children playing in the moonlight. Grandfather had seen the children playing in the moonlight. Grandfather said that there were many ghosts in the ruins. During the terrible storm, one of the houses was hit by lightning. Everyone in the house died, including two children. Grandfather had seen the children playing in the moonlight. Then third question is, what did Usha buy in the market? List them. What did Usha buy in the market? List them. Usha bought soap, matches, spices, and sugar. She bought a pipe stem for grandfather's hookah. She bought an exercise book and some marbles for Suresh. She also bought a necklace for her. Usha bought soap, matches, spices, and sugar. She bought a pipe stem for grandfather's hookah. She bought an exercise book and some marbles for Suresh. She also bought a necklace for her. Yes. Then fourth question is, what scared Usha during the dark rainy night? What scared Usha during the dark rainy night? The answer is, when lightning flashed. Usha saw two ghostly figures of children near the opposite wall, scaring at her. This side scared Usha. When lightning flashed, Usha saw two ghostly figures of the children near the opposite wall, scaring at her. This side scared Usha. And fifth question is, how did the children react when they met each other at the ruins? How did the children react when they met each other at the ruins? The answer is, when Suresh shouted, Usha recognized his voice. They fell into each other's arms. They are surprised and relieved. They laughed, jiggled, huddled together, and chattered excitedly. When Suresh shouted, Usha recognized his voice. They fell into each other's arms. They were surprised and relieved. They laughed, jiggled, huddled, and together and chattered excitedly. Yes. Then discuss in class. Was it just the wind? Was it just the wind? What do you think Usha thought it was? Why? What do you think Usha thought it was? Why? The answer is the three children came out of the ruin and set out and set out. See, the three children came. The three children came out of the ruin and set out for home. Usha looked back at the ruins. They said goodbye to the place. All of a sudden they heard the words. Goodbye repeated. Usha felt that perhaps it was the wind. The noise of the wind was like echoing the word goodbye. Goodbye. The three children came out of the ruin and set out for home. Usha looked back at the ruins. They said goodbye to the place. All of a sudden they heard the words goodbye repeated. Usha felt that perhaps it was the wind. The noise of the wind was like echoing the word goodbye. Children, today's class is over here. You have to read it well, these 5 2 marks, and section 1 4 2 marks. Yes, it is also the test portion. You have to read the passage well and memorize the question and answers, glossary and its meanings, and here it have also glossary, this glossary also, and choose the correct answer, and these questions. Okay, you have to read it well and go through the lesson again. Okay children, okay students, thank you.